I'm going to go over everything that we went over before. Unfortunately, the class didn't record, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, for those of you that have never met me before, my name is J. Robert Parker. I am a union certified master hypnotist, and I own Twin Ravens Hypnotherapy and Research LLC. And I am here as part of this 6 week class that I'm offering to Alignable to kind of bring you into my world a little bit about the subconscious and how this relates to, frankly, everything. Because it's like I jokingly tell my clients, it's all in your head. Everything, all you'll ever be, all you'll ever perceive, everything is all in your head. So, what the one of the things I wanted to talk about before I actually get into the topic of today's class, which is anxiety and stress, something we all have to deal with. I'm going to kind of review what we went over in the first class. And the first thing I want to review is what hypnosis is and is not. Hypnosis is not what you have seen on TV and movies, things like that. This is a natural process, a natural function of the human mind that it's part of our everyday life. You are in hypnosis a minimum of twice a day. 30 minutes before you go to sleep, 30 minutes after you wake up, you are in trance. It's the reason for morning and nightly affirmations. And by trance, this is defined as the theta brainwave pattern. And this is the pattern of our mind of this wavelength where we are receptive to change and learning. We have different wave patterns in our brain: alpha for relaxation, beta for attentiveness, delta for sleep. And then we have theta, which is this very interesting state that occurs in meditation, deep prayer, hypnosis, all of these, and also in movies, in books, in various places in our environment. And what it is not, and I cannot emphasize this part enough, it is not mind control. This is not, as I said, what you've seen in the movies. This isn't, how is it, swinging pocket watches and things like that. The pocket watch is unrelated. I just collect pocket watches. I don't have it for the purposes of hypnosis. Uh, but this this isn't mind control. If anything, this is the exact opposite. This is gaining control over your own mind, over your own thoughts, over the thoughts that you both accept into your mind and allow yourself to think. This is about mindset. This is about self-control and taking the reins of your own thoughts, of your own mind, and not just letting that run out of control. And how does this relate to business? Well, it's everything. On top of subconscious influence being the basis of all marketing, many of the things that we are going to talk about over the course of this class are vital to business, such as today. Anyone that operates a business has anxiety, has stress. Anyone that lives life has anxiety and stress. But when we're talking about running our businesses, when we're talking about taking care of our business, there's always new anxiety, new stress. And today, we're going to teach you some tools of how to deal with that and kind of explain exactly what's going on. And the goals of this program are to give you a series of tools to be able to use in your day-to-day life, to educate you about these certain aspects of the subconscious and actively give you tools. For example, today we're talking about anxiety and stress. Next class in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about the neurology of goal setting. And that's a fascinating topic. I encourage everyone to come to that one because there is a a physical part of your brain that is in charge of goal setting that you can use to your advantage or disadvantage if you let it run out of control. So, to explain how these classes are going to go before we get into the main nitty-gritty is here for about the first half. I'm just going to be discussing what what the topic is for today, how that relates to the work we're going to be doing, and opening things up to questions, of course, because I realize that this is a lot of information I'm about to dump on you guys for a very interesting topic. So I encourage questions. So as you hear me speak, if you have any questions you want to ask, just note those down. And before we enter into the second half, I'll I'll give a chance to ask those. The second half is the fun part. For those of you who have not experienced hypnosis before, we will be doing a hypnotic portion. And the purpose of today's group hypnosis is the reinforcement of an anchor. And that anchor is going to be for calm, for relaxation. And as to what exactly an anchor is and what that means, you've I will explain more later, but you've often probably heard that referred to as a trigger or a post hypnotic suggestion. It is simply a word that causes an association. You already have many anchors in place, but this is, again, something we'll talk about here in a bit. So, going to tell you something very interesting that is probably very unexpected. Anxiety and hypnosis are brought about by the same process. It's the same thing almost. Where they differ is anxiety, there's this buildup of what we call message units. And it's any input, sight, sound, smell, thought, anything that causes your brain to process whatever it needs to. And the difference between anxiety and hypnosis is that when we follow anxiety all the way, we go into fight flight. We go into that primitive nervous response of I either have to fight it, run from it, or freeze up. And what hypnosis does is it bypasses that and goes straight to what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. Your fight flight is referred to as your sympathetic nervous response. Parasympathetic can be thought of as the cool down. So, how anytime you get really anxious or freak out, how there's always that period of calm afterwards. That's your parasympathetic. Hypnosis simply goes right to that. But how you get there is very similar. Hypnosis is brought about by the overload of message units. And this is done in varying ways. And one of the things I'm sure everyone knows, but I like to touch on anyway, is the importance of managing your stress and your anxiety. To put it very simply, stress will kill you. The cortisol released with stress, the hypertension associated with stress, every aspect of stress is harmful to the body, and anything needs to be done to regulate this process, to control what we feel and allow ourselves to feel. And management of stress and anxiety, especially among business owners, because as you know, it's fun being a business owner. It's totally stress free and anxiety free at every moment, right? No. So, so we have to regulate the stress that we feel. And one of the things that I want everyone to consider today is, and these are, it seems a very obvious question or series of questions I'm about to ask, but it's stunning how often we don't actually sit down and think about this, which again, this is that mindfulness idea that I'm talking about. What makes you anxious? What makes you anxious? What brings about these feelings of anxiety? And where do you feel it? Because anytime we feel anxious, we feel it somewhere. Like, for example, when I start to feel anxiety, I get like this pit under my rib cage, like this hollow in my stomach. And whenever we have these physical reactions to anxiety, what happens? We we were feeling anxious, and now all of a sudden we have that feeling, which is a verification of our anxiety, which does what? It makes you feel more anxious, which does what? It makes that feeling worse, which does what? And it's this cycle until you're risking a full-on panic attack, or you are just letting this anxiety get in control of you. So what do? You cease that process. You turn that process into something beneficial, because you can take anxiety and you can turn it right into hypnosis once you know how. And that's going to be one of the things we kind of touch on today. But the more than this anxiety, the stress, and I'm sure you have all had this conversation before. I want to emphasize the importance of self-care, of giving yourself a moment of kind of just checking in with yourself, which is one of the big things that hypnosis is great for, is this checking in with your own mind. So an example I give is, as I've said, you were in hypnosis 30 minutes before you go to bed and 30 minutes after you wake up. So with that in mind, these moments in the morning when you're laying in bed, when your thoughts drift, those are the moments where you could give yourself suggestions. And what I mean by self-care in this moment is really think about, what are your thoughts upon waking? How do you wake yourself up? Do you start with go go go, getting yourself right out of bed, or do you ease yourself into waking? Give yourself reinforcing suggestions, visualize your day. I didn't before I started doing this, but you have to remember, everything within those 30 minutes is a suggestion to your subconscious. So when I'm talking about self-care, that starts on waking, and it starts or begins throughout the day with you being attentive to how you feel and your needs. If you start to feel anxious or something, don't just keep running headlong into what's making you anxious. If you can prevent it, take that moment, take a step back, breathe, stop, and allow you to come back into a calmer state. And granted, this isn't always a thing, but today I'm going to give you some tools to be able to assist in doing that. Which brings us to our very interesting topic, which is anchors. What is an anchor? Of course, you'd have to ask that. Um, it's an association. You all have anchors, I guarantee you. So I imagine that you all have a smell from your childhood, that to this day, when you smell that or you hear that song, it just takes you back right to that moment, be it your mother's house or grandmother's house or Christmas morning or whatever it is. You go back there vividly. That's an anchor. That is exactly what we're talking about. It is a strong association that creates a recall to this previous state. And of course, with hypnosis, once people hear about anchors and triggers, they all think of, when I snap my fingers, you'll cluck like a chicken. That's not a thing. I'm not going to make anyone cluck like a chicken today. And if you do, call me. I've got questions. But I, to kind of explain this, because I always have to explain this anytime it mentioned the chicken thing, because we've all seen stage hypnotists do that or similar things. And if that cannot be done in hypnosis, why does that work? Well, um, there's this concept called social pain, which says that the feeling of awkwardness, rejection into social situation is felt the same neurologically as physical pain. So unless you are a certain type of suggestible which doesn't care and will just go for humiliating the stage hypnotist, what would you rather do? Comply and have everything go smoothly, or not, and risk embarrassment in front of hundreds, thousands of people? Most people are just going to cluck like a chicken. And that's kind of the explanation as to why that works. That's more social compliance than it is actual hypnosis. Real hypnosis, as you'll all see today, isn't very exciting. It's the exact opposite by design. It's calming, it's relaxing, it's those moments, as I've said, in waking, when you're very relaxed and drifting and your thoughts just make connections. That's all this is. And one of the things we, as I said, we're going to do today is we're going to give you an anchor. And what we're going to anchor this to is a very simple word. It's going to be the word calm. And all this will be is a reinforcement in hypnosis of because I'm going to take you all to a very relaxed feeling in the hypnotic portion and anchor that sensation subconsciously of calm, of clarity to this word calm, so that whenever you are having a moment where when you feel anxiety, when you feel stress, you can take a deep breath and just either say this word out loud, think it, write it down, whatever way you are able to register this word, and that will take you back to that calm moment just enough to help you through that. And as to how to use these, it really is just that simple. I used to play with my anchors when I first kind of started doing this because I thought it was the wildest thing. Because my anchor word was calm, and I still remember sitting in the shower and being like, well, let's try this," and saying the word out loud, and just immediately all the tension drained out of my body enough that I actually said out loud, "Whoa." And it's just the power of the subconscious, of subconscious association, because like I said before, it's all in your head. Everything, who you are, who you will be, all your perceptions and experiences and biases and everything. Where else does that exist but right there? Only and ever you could only exist in your own head. And so that's what I'm teaching these classes, because no one teaches us how to work with these systems in our mind. No one taught me until I went to school for this and proceeded to just get my mind blown, because this isn't something special. And it's weird, I'm sure, to hear me say that, but this isn't. This is every day. This is every human. We all have this built in. This is a part of being human, like being sad or being happy. Trance is part of the human experience. And I firmly believe every man, woman, and child on earth should learn about this, should experience this, because this is effectively the user manual to your brain. How to affect your thoughts, because your thoughts aren't just your thoughts. We often think that, oh, we just think what we think and they can go wherever they want. You can have so much more control than you think you can. You can take control over parts of your life I didn't think possible. And it, if it can help me, it can help anyone, because I'm as stubborn as they come. So if it could get through my head, it can work for anyone. So before before we go on to the hypnotic portion, I just want to open the floor up to any questions that anyone may have about anything I've said today, anything having to do with what I do, anything you want to ask. If you have ever wanted to ask a hypnotist, now's your chance. Don't speak up all at once.
So, hi, it's Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to um, what made you go in this direction and how you found the institution that taught you. I mean, just
Mhm.
this last,
Just a little
20
background.
24 minutes has just been really interesting.
Good. Well, it gets it gets no less interesting because that story is odd. So, kind of give you all background of who I am and how I came to do this. Um, Previous to doing this, I had zero experience or knowledge about hypnosis. My only education on the subject was a book from 1907 on the subject, which is exactly as wacky as you think it would be. And so, just to kind of bounce around a little bit, during the pandemic, when that first started, I, like a lot of other people, lost my job. I worked in the restaurant industry. I was a resort chef at a fancy pants resort. And I obviously, me and my partner, who she was a waitress, both out of a job, and it kind of had to think to myself, what do I do? And uh yada yada yada, I ended up reading tarot cards professionally, and I was less reading people's fortune, so to speak, and I was more reframing people's problems to them using the archetypes present in the cards to give them a new perspective and actually try to help them through whatever they're calling me for. And I it worked. I had people pay money to call me back to say you really helped me. You gave me new perspective. I just wanted to thank you. And I thought to myself, well, how do I just do that? How to how do I just help people? And lo and behold, the Facebook algorithm put a hypnotherapy college in front of me. There is an institution called HMI College of Hypnotherapy that offers up to a 720-hour postgraduate program on hypnotherapy. And I'm as extra as they come, so that sounded good to me. And I I remember it was a couple of weeks doing in that class before I just had my mind absolutely blown. Because, like I said, I was basically a skeptic whenever I started doing this. It just sounded like an interesting idea. And I figured if I didn't like it, I'd just drop out and not have to pay anything. And I I had no preconceived notions of what hypnosis was, of what it could do, anything like that going in. Like I said, my like everyone else's knowledge of hypnosis began and ended at that, and that's not exactly a great thing. So that's kind of what led me to do this is a random series of events, and it's interesting because I feel like this is my calling. This is the first time I've ever felt like I'm not just good at something, that I have a gift, that I understand something and have something to give. And that's really what been so important to me about this experience, this journey with being a hypnotherapist is the things that I have learned doing this are endlessly fascinating. It's why I love teaching these classes. This class series is normally something that I charge 1,500 for the full series. I just wanted to give it to everyone on Alignable just as an opportunity to teach, to give something back to a community that's been pretty good to me. I've had a lot of connection on Alignable.
Mm.
Nala, any
Thank you.
questions?
We just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're
That-
welcome.
That's so special and so sweet of you, so kind of you. You
Thank
want
you.
to give back to, to help others, you know.
Well, the way I think of it is I've had a lot of success doing this. And I I want to be able to give back in some way. I I there's groups that I work with and things like that, but I enjoy teaching more than anything, oddly enough. And that's also something new that I learned since doing this. But yes, you're very welcome. I'm very glad to do this. It's never something I thought that I would do. Um, I to to be interesting to give you some background as to who I was before I was a chef. I was a tattoo artist for 14 years. I don't know if you noticed, but I keep the marks from it, and it's it's one of those things that like I never fit in. I did it for so long, I never enjoyed it, and it was always a weird thing. And that's one of the things I really try to pass on to my clients and things like that is this understanding of yourself versus what you do for a living and how that affects you. And that stuff we're going to talk about later in the class because that has to do with individual hypnotic suggestibility and how that affects the way we learn, the way we interact, things like that. Because everyone can be hypnotized. Like I said, it's a natural process. What changes is the way it's done. Is different people, you have to use different language. For example, I'm a very extreme end of one of the suggestibility types, and you basically have to trick me into thinking that it's my idea is the best way to explain that. And it works. I still remember very vividly the first time someone successfully put me in trance, and I still think about that. I still think about the things that I experienced and the things that I learned, and I still use that as motivation to this day. So this is like I said before, if this can work on me and I'm as stubborn as they come, the growth I've seen from people that I work with is amazing, which is part of the reason that I love doing this so much. I see the results of what I do session to session, because that's what makes hypnotherapy so special among all the modalities. Is it's quick. You see change very, very fast because it's subconscious reprogramming. It's mandating how you want to think. Because if everything is just association and learned behavior, what choice did you have in that? You didn't. But you can make the choice to think a new way, to behave a new way. And it's simply by changing the associations in your head. A good example of this, I was a very negative, angry person all of my life. And it all had to do with my mindset, with what I chose to see. This is the next class, but it merits talking about. I mentioned this thing called, or I didn't mention it. It's this your brain's goal setting device. What's this thing called a reticular activating system? And this is a part of your brain. This isn't a theoretical thing. And it's got a few functions, but it's one of its primary functions is it filters what you see, what you perceive. That's why it's used for goal setting, is because you then notice things oriented to your goals, and so you make forward progress because that's what you're honed in on. What happens when you're angry? What happens when you're depressed? Your reticular activating system gets reprogrammed to only see the bad, to only see the negative. And that's why whenever you've been depressed, because everyone's experienced depression before, you cannot see the good in front of you. It's like it's invisible, because that's just your reticular activating system. It's been programmed to see the bad. But again, this is next class. This is kind of getting ahead of myself. So before we start the actual hypnotic portion, does anyone have any more questions? There'll be time for more questions after the actual hypnosis itself, because there's always questions after that. So if there are no questions, just get in a comfortable position is all I need everyone to do. Now,
I think I may have one concern
what's your concern?
or issue. Well, I'm a Reiki healer.
Mhm.
You've heard of Reiki?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we do a lot of healing through color, sound, energy, and getting almost like you're getting like being a counselor as well,
Mhm.
to talk about the issues, the problems, and try to open up those channels. Those
Would you
blocked
be
channels.
surprised to hear that hypnotherapy and Reiki are almost the exact same profession?
That's what I'm kind of like getting from what you're saying, and I know this can help me a lot in my business. And then when I did email you on Lineable, I had said that I'm open for anything that'll help me,
Mhm.
to be a better Reiki healer.
I have peers that are Reiki healers, and it's very similar in terms of what we're working with. When you hear the hypnotic inductions that I'm going to be using, they might sound familiar, because one of the things you'll notice working with hypnosis, it's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Meditation is the exact same thing as hypnosis. There is no difference in terms of what's happening in your mind. Where my skill set comes in, and what kind of makes the difference between hypnotherapy and any other therapeutic modality is I learn how to speak the language of the subconscious. More specifically, I learn how to speak the language of your subconscious specifically. And that's that's how you affect change. It's why pre-recorded hypnosis doesn't generally work very well, because it's not keyed into you specifically. And you'll get some benefits, just like there's benefits from group hypnosis. But yeah, it's very similar. uh I even had a one of my peers in India just tell me flat out, like, it's both energy healing, it's the same thing. And it's I have worked with similar Reiki principles with clients, working with oddly enough, where it comes up a lot is ED, erectile dysfunction. A lot of like uh energy visualization and things like that come into play. But yeah, that's you you weren't far off at all. So, does anyone else have any questions before we get started? Feel free. I'm open to any questions you want. Just don't ask me lottery numbers. I don't know. that's a whole different profession. All right. So, all I need everyone to do, if you wish to participate, is just get comfortable. If you're wearing glasses, take off your glasses, but just get comfortable in whatever seat you're in. And here in a moment, when everyone's adjusted in and comfortable, all I want you to do is just focus on your breathing for a moment. Just breathing in through your nose for a count of 4 and out through your mouth for a count of 4. And if you have not already, simply allow your eyes to close, focusing only on maintaining the rhythm of your breathing and the sound of my voice. And here in a moment, you may begin to notice, as you focus on your breathing, a few changes begin to take place. This is normal and natural. The first thing you may begin to notice is a tendency for the breathing to deepen as the body begins to require more oxygen. This is normal. This is natural. Simply allow your breathing to deepen, for the oxygen to move throughout your body. And the next thing you may begin to notice as your breathing deepens is a tendency for the eyes to make small motions behind the eyelids. Again, this is normal. This is natural. This is simply a phenomenon called catalepsy. And the next thing you may begin to notice is a tendency to maybe want to swallow for the mouth to get a little dry. And if you need to swallow, you may. That's perfectly fine. And as you relax, focused on your breathing, I would like for you to visualize, imagine, picture, or pretend in your mind's eye a chalkboard, an old chalkboard, dusty with old chalk. And below this chalkboard, visualize rows and rows of colored chalk, every color in the rainbow. And I would like for you to choose one of these colors of chalk, whichever color you choose. And when you've chosen this color, on that chalkboard, draw the number 10. And after you have drawn the number 10, the color of your choosing, wipe it away. And as you wipe it away, allow yourself to become a little more relaxed. And now, choose a new color from that array of chalk. Choose a new color and draw on the chalkboard the number 9. Draw the number 9 on the chalkboard with your new color. Wipe it away and relax even further. Now a new color in the number 8, and then wiping it away in twice as relaxed. And now a new color in 7, and wiped away. A new color in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Deep sleep. Each and every time I say the words to you, deep sleep, for the purposes of hypnosis, and with your permission, you'll return to this state or even deeper, and the physical body can relax. Good. Now, let that stairwell fade. Let that chalkboard fade and bring about a stairwell. Whatever stairwell you choose, be it real, be it imagined, but it always has 20 steps going down, well lit, secure steps. And each step that we take down together will allow yourself to go twice as deep, 3 times as deep into the state of trance. Starting now at 20, down to 19, down to 18, down to 17, 16, 15, down to 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Deep sleep. Each and every time I say the words to you, deep sleep, for the purposes of hypnosis, and with your permission, you'll return to this state or even deeper, and the physical body will relax. Good. Now let all of those things fade, and instead picture yourself, imagine yourself in a place that makes you feel safe and calm, secure even. This place can be real, this place can be imagined, but this place is your place of calm, of safety, of security. And as you drift in this place, forming it clearer, clearer with each word that I speak, letting the pauses in between my words take you deeper and deeper into trance. And as you imagine this place, I would simply like you to let your mind drift as your subconscious listens to the words that I have to say. And in this relaxed moment, your body and mind calm, I would like to give you a gift to be able to return to this calm serenity whenever you choose. And all you have to do is remember the word calm. The word calm, every time it's said, heard, written down, or read, will return you to this feeling of relaxation, of clarity, of serenity. The word calm acting as an anchor to this wonderful, relaxed feeling. The word calm taking you back to this soothing, calming place. The word calm easing your mind, easing your body. Anytime it's written out, anytime it's read, the form of the word calm has that effect of taking you back to this place, to this time, to my voice, and to this relaxed clarity. The word calm as your tool, calm as your anchor. More than a feeling, more than a word. It is this feeling you have now of peace, of relaxation, and of clarity. And as you allow this word, calm, to resonate in your mind, allowing your subconscious mind to hear my word, and your conscious mind to repeat this word, calm, calm, and allow that to resonate with this feeling. And as you drift in this place of safety with this feeling of calm, I would like you to visualize, imagine, picture, or pretend a white ball of healing light coming down from the ceiling, down over the crown of your head. And wherever this white healing light touches, it soothes, it relaxes, it releases any tension, any anxiety, and any stress. You remember this word, calm, as it continues to move down this white, wonderful healing light, down your head to your jaw, relaxing and releasing, calming and soothing. As it continues to move down your neck to your shoulders, and from your shoulders to your arms, relaxing and releasing, down to your biceps, your elbows, your forearm, and from your forearms into your hand, and from your hands out through your fingers, leaving behind calm, relaxation, relief, soothing, calm. This light continues to move down your spine and stomach, to your hips, to your legs, relaxing, releasing, calming, and soothing. It moves down from your thighs to your knees, relaxing your calves, and last gathering into your feet. And with a deep cleansing breath in, gather this into your feet and release, letting this light take the last of any stress, any anxiety, leaving behind only calm, relaxation, released, and relaxed. Here in a moment, I'm going to count you up and out of hypnosis. But before I do, remember again this word and what this means. This word calm and how it is associated now with this wonderful, relaxed state. Now counting from 0 up to 5, and at 5, returning to a wakeful state of awareness. At 0, there's always the tendency to go a little deeper. At 1, we're closing the door to the subconscious mind. At 2, taking a deep breath in and releasing. At 3, as you become more aware of the thoughts coming into your mind. 4, more aware of the physical world around you. And 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake. How's everybody? How's that?
Oh, wow. Nice. Wow. That was so relaxing. Oh my goodness.
Yep. That's why I said it's always interesting the first time. But yeah, I think wow was my first reaction the first time too.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, for those of you that have never experienced it before, that's hypnosis. That's not deep trance, mind you, but that is the state of trance as you just experienced it. So that's all there is to it. Like I said, nothing at all like in the movies. And this word that we've spoken of, calm, that is an anchor now. That is a reinforcement. Whenever you need to, simply repeat this word to yourself, write it down, read it, anything like that. This association remains and it will always be there. Anchors are permanent, they do not go away. There is not an expiration date on them. So from this day forward, the word calm for you will bring you back to these feelings, and you can use this as a tool whenever you need to. Does anyone else have questions, observations, anything they like to share? Anyone want to cluck like a chicken?
I I really enjoyed it. I really felt really good, and I feel really good.
Mhm.
But
Good. Wonderful.
you know how Murphy's Law goes. We have a
Mhm.
puppy.
Oh yeah.
So as soon as we started, the puppy got a plant and was chewing
Oh.
the plant right beside me. And I
Oh.
was like, okay, if you're at work, he'd be doing this. So just like, and then finally, because I kept hearing him, right? And he was right beside me. So finally I had to like go and clean it up and kick him outside. And so, but I came right back, and hopefully, like, I feel really good, but it
Well,
was like,
also,
yeah,
like I said, this is recorded. So I'm going to, once I actually upload this, post it on Alignable on all the groups. And you can go back and listen to this portion and get the same benefits, get the same reinforcement. So don't worry that you might have missed something. It still worked. I promise you that. But I wish I would have known about your dog. I can actually use that in hypnosis. Like if there's a noise going on in the background, like a jackhammer even, I can give instructions in hypnosis that every time you hear this noise, it serves to take you further into the state of trance. I've used someone's cat in hypnosis because they wouldn't stop licking their face. And I just anchored that cat licking their face to every time it licks your face, you allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into trance. And that cat knocked him out more than I did. So, but it's a very unusual state that we're talking about, that we're working with. And at the same time, it isn't, because this isn't one of the things I like to emphasize is I didn't do anything to you. I didn't give you anything. I don't have a superpower that I can transfer to you. All hypnosis is self hypnosis. I am a guide. So, all of these experiences you all just felt of relaxation, of calm, that was you. I only guided you there. I only held your hand and helped you to this place. Everything you felt today is all you. And these are all things that with practice, you can allow yourself to do. You can bring yourself into these states yourself. And before you learn how to do that, the best time, like I said, when you wake up, right before you go to bed, that because those are, and I cannot emphasize this enough, those thoughts upon waking are quite literally hypnotic suggestions you are giving yourself. So if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself your day is going to suck, you know what happens? You've just programmed your brain to notice only the bad, and your day is going to suck. It's that reticular activating system that I constantly talk about that is an actual physical part of your brain. This is more than theoretical. This is neurology. We are talking about the brain itself and how it works for you. Your brain isn't just this organ that runs rampant at any time. You can take control of it. That's why when I told you at the very beginning, hypnosis is not mind control. It is gaining control over your own mind. And now you start to see this. You see the clarity of thought that you had in that state, the relaxation, the calm, the way things began to come together and it all flowed. That's just the brain. That's just the capability of the human mind. And working with hypnotherapy is, at least with me, I am not the guy that just gives you suggestions and sends you on their way, because that doesn't do anything. Ignore that. It's a learning process. It is gaining control over your thoughts, behaviors, notions, all of these things. And this was that's the first little bit of that. And I encourage everyone to come to the next class. Whatever group you found me in, I'll be posting this new event probably in the next day or so for class number 3. Connect with me on Alignable. Ask me when the class is going to start again. This is going to be every 2 weeks, and there are 6 classes. To kind of, before we go, give you an overview of what those classes are going to be. Like I said, next week is goal setting, talking about the reticular activating system. Week 4, we're going to be talking about flow state, which, if you've ever heard, like, I'm in the groove or I'm feeling the flow of things, that's hypnosis. That's something called flow state. And we're going to talk about that and emphasize that. Week 5 is hypnosis for business specifically. We're going to talk about things like talking to people and suggestibility and how that has to do with our interactions. And then week 6 is hypnosis for everyday life. All of the different aspects that these concepts, these phenomena interact, how your life is all having to do with trance. And just as an indication, all marketing, because we're all business people here, we all talk about marketing. Would it surprise you to learn that the entire concept of marketing was started roughly 100 years ago by Sigmund Freud's nephew, a man named Edward Bernays, to basically co-opt the subconscious into doing whatever marketing chose to have you do? Surprise. And that's one of the things I talk about. And as I said, this isn't a theory. It's a man named Edward Bernays, and I encourage anyone to look into him. There's a documentary called Century of Self that discusses these concepts. But I digress and go off on a tangent, as I am prone to do. Before I wrap things up here, does anybody have any more questions for me? Ask away.
Is the class next Saturday, did you say?
Every
or
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Okay. And you'll give us a notice.
Yes,
send out a notice. Okay.
it will be posted on the individual groups on Alignable. And the easiest way to keep track of the classes, just shoot me a connection request, and I will, you'll be able to get that update. So yeah, I'm on Alignable, honestly.
And I do want to say that I was actually feeling like a deep numbness and tingling when I was so relaxed, and I just want to pass that on to you, that it was so relaxing. It was like I was getting numb. I was like, wow.
At its deepest levels of trance, there is something called hypno anesthesia that is possible, where you can actually perform surgery on somebody. And this isn't uncommon. Even if you Google hypno anesthesia, thousands of cases pop up. Because if you're allergic to anesthesia of any kind of anesthetic, what are you going to do? I mean, the answer is hypnosis. And that's, I can't just automatically take someone to that level of trance. That's something you have to train to do. And that's really the thing that I like to emphasize, is as you work with this is a learning process. Every time you go into trance, it's a little easier, a little deeper, a little more clear. And I have clients I've worked with for months and months and months, over dozens of sessions, and they are capable of just almost immediately going into intense depths of trance and make real fundamental change almost on a dime. It's fascinating to see.
Wow, amazing.
So before I bid you all farewell, do you have any more questions for me? Anyone? Kelly, Beverly, Ken?
I just want to say thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, guys. It's always a pleasure. Like
Yeah,
I said,
thank you.
you're welcome, Ken. I
Yeah,
love.
I couldn't. I was driving, so I couldn't really take my glasses off and do all the stuff you were
Good.
mentioning.
Good.
So I have to catch you next time. when
Well,
I'm
like I said,
stationary.
this will be recorded. So whenever I post the recording, just go back and do it. So good deal.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna try that when it gets posted for sure.
Excellent. Good deal.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure meeting everyone. Everyone, please connect with me on Alignable. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, I'd love to hear it. And other than that, it was wonderful being able to work with y'all. Wonderful being able to show you some of you for the first time what this actually is. So, thank you very much. I hope I see everyone at the next class and future classes. And if you know anyone else that would enjoy this, bring them along. This everyone's welcome. I encourage as many people to come as they want. This is important. This is, like I said, this is everything. It's all in your head. So again, my name is J. Robert Parker, if that wasn't obvious. And I will see everyone next time. You all have a wonderful day.